Oh, that's not the one I want to share you. Uh, can you see this screen? The Amazon? Yes. I did this yesterday.
I don't see
This
it.
book. I did this book
It says
yesterday.
Microsoft Bling.
There's Microsoft Bling on there.
Oh, you can't see Amazon?
Mm-mm.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, can you see it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kevin, I did this book yesterday. I sat here for like 6 hours and I did the book, and now it's on sale on Amazon, ebook and book, everything. I literally got up yesterday morning because I had a conversation with somebody a couple of days before, and I had been talking about family economics, and I have like I'm working with Clayton County to do some stuff, and I was like, I need to get that book done. So I was like, you know what? Let me do it today. And I sat down and I thought about what I wanted to do. So I took my phone out and I recorded all the stuff I wanted to talk about on my phone. And I just sent the recording to a transcription service on the thing on online. And then after I did that, it transcribed it and then I dropped it in ChatGPT and I said, write the chapters out for this. I want it to be between 7 and 10 chapters and write them out based on all of the stuff that I just talked about with my phone. So I voice recorded everything and then I sent it to ChatGPT and I said, write it out. I said, I want you to write it like I talk. Like I like to have fun. So I don't want it to be too stuffy. I want family members to get the book and say, okay, I can do this. It needs to be written in second person, active voice, eighth grade readability, so the everyday person can read the book, right? But I did this yesterday, including the cover. So I did the cover in Canva.
Mm.
And the reason I'm showing you this is because what you just said you want to do is pretty simple. Um, if you talk out what you want to talk out in your phone and then you have it transcribed by some transcription service, then you take that and you drop it in Chat GPT. And that's all I did. And I sat here probably about 6 hours and I think yeah, it was about 6 hours, but by the time I got finished, it was like 6:30. And I was like, okay, I think I need to go eat dinner now. And so now that book is in Amazon live and I'll be able to go do my meeting on the 4th. Then I got to go present for them on the 18th. Then I got to go back in August and present again to the commissioner. Then I got to go back in October. This is the same person. This is the same person. So someone put me in a meeting with them on Saturday, and I was like, "Holy crap! I got to do the book." So because I need to have the book in my hands because they're in the same space I am as far as economic development. And so because I'm talking about family economics, it only makes sense, and it's easier to get through a door with a book. And so for what you're trying to do, what I would say for you is look at course.ai. So let me go back and see, can I pull up CourseBox real quick? Because this is what I did for my husband. Like, so my husband, he's funny. He said, I want to do something, right? I was like, okay, so you want to do something. So what I did was I used Lovable and then I use CourseBox. So I use Lovable to build the front end, and I use CourseBox to build a course. And so how I did that was I went on YouTube and I looked up tablet compression because he's in tablet compression. He's in pharmaceutical manufacturing, but he told me tablet compression operators is hard to find. So I found some videos. I took those videos and I had ChatGPT's transcribe them and analyze them. And then I took that content and took it over to CourseBox and say, create me a course. It only needs to be 5 modules. And each module needs to have 10 questions. And when they get finished, they'll get a certificate. So for you, Kevin, without you having to be in it at all, you can be in it if you want to. My husband is nowhere. That's that little man that I created him. That's the funniest thing. And he was like, can you make it sing? I'm like, bruh, sell the course. Just don't worry about the man singing. Sell the course. So, and I don't think you saw it, Kevin. Let me show it to you real quick. This is what I created for my husband because I don't think I had created one when I met you. Hold on one second. And feel free to jump in and ask me questions anytime, guys.
I think that's
Because
helpful
sometimes,
because I used to be a teacher as well. So when I heard you talking about teaching, the idea of creating courses, even that I can monetize by creating workshops, I think that's all a part of this whole package. So I think
yeah.
that's great.
And is
So this is
Coursebox like a Kajabi or Skillshare or something like that where it just
yes,
hosts
but
the
it's cheaper.
videos?
But
Okay.
it's a lot cheaper. It's like $20 a month or something. You know, Kajabi is about 100 and something dollars. I think
Mm-hmm.
Thinkific is around 49. What's the other one? Kajabi, Thinkific, Teachable is about
Teachable.
49. Yeah, they're about 49. I just happen to like this one because once you get finished, you can give your students a certificate at the end. So he
Mm-hmm.
said he wanted to do this. So this is what I created for him, Kevin. This is his site. And I used Lovable to create the front end of his site. We gave him my daughter gave him that name, Farmer Frank. So that's his little name. We got to trademark that. And then I created this little picture, which is what he was so excited about. Forget everything else I did. This was exciting. But the front end of this I created with Lovable. So the home page, now the courses I used um CourseBox. So I just went in there and dropped in what I wanted to do the course on, and then it created the course for me. So it's taking a long time to load. It's probably because I got the video on. But people can go there, they can actually click on the button, enroll in the program, and then take the course. I also included him a job board because one of the other things he talked about was being able to have a job board so people can actually come here and apply. Other people, and he has to promote this, but companies who are looking for operators and pharmaceutical specialists and all that kind of stuff, they can advertise here. So that's another stream of income. So the courses is one stream, but this is another stream because if they're looking to hire people, they pay about Indeed and what's the other one? No, Indeed. And there's another one. They pay between 50 and 150 a month to advertise on those platforms. So I said to him, well, you can charge to be on your board because it's specifically for pharmaceutical. So now that's another stream of income from him because he said to me, I want to retire in 2 years. I was like, okay, so let's work on something. So I put the job board on there. So now he can go out and say, hey, I got a job board. You can advertise whatever that fee is. And he also gets a lot of people who want him to consult on things. So I added him a consultation board here. What was interesting about this, I consult all the time. I do consultations all the time. He doesn't really. He just talked for free. So when he saw this number right here, he goes, "Somebody's gonna pay me for that." I said, That's probably too cheap, actually. But I just want you to get started. So I set all this up for him. So when you think about and the reason this is going to work is because it's a problem. Like they can't find really good tablet compression operators, so they go to South Carolina, they go over to Research Triangle in North Carolina, they've gone to Alabama. People have transferred and got the transfer money, stayed 6 months and went back home. They have a problem with that. So that's why I was like, what kind of problem can your SaaS projects solve? That's what I want you to think about because that's what we're gonna start to build out tomorrow. And I'll walk you through Lovable, like how to get it started. And it's way easier than you think. Now, we'll talk about that tomorrow because I want you to see how I use ChatGPT. And that's one of the things we do. But today I want to brainstorm. So tomorrow we hit the ground running. Like that's why I want you to have your idea. So Kevin, with that being said, did you see something there that you could probably say, oh, I got a good idea for something, and then we're gonna do some ChatGPT to make sure it's a good idea.
Actually, everything you just did is kind of what I was trying to recreate. Like I said, consultations, engagement, things like that. So that site in and of itself is similar to what I want to eventually create as well, in addition to just strictly what I'm doing on my end. And like I said, I'll have content that can go to Amazon, to be created, printify, and all the stuff like that can be done to create other streams of income.
So in your business, and I'm gonna get to everybody, but I just thought in your business, Kevin, what is one of the main problems that you have in your business, and that is a problem that you can also see other people have in your business, in your line.
Well, one of the problems I have is not having the help I need when I
Mm-hmm.
need it. So that's one. Supply demand is one of the issues. Maintaining costs, especially with things fluctuating, just to be consistent, and just communication.
Do
Just
you use a cost calculator to calculate your stuff?
I do it manually. I have something that I've created, but like I said, prices fluctuate, so I kind of price it to whereby I can avoid too many fluctuations with costs. So I account for that by, coming up with my price. But one of the things I had an issue with for a long time is pricing to coming to my value. Like your husband said, oh, I can charge that much. I was just doing it for free because I'm always helping people, but now I have to be able to create it where I can earn income. Like you said, I've retired from UPS after 29 years, but I'm not retired. I have to do something to make sure.
So now another tool you may think about creating is a cost calculator for your industry.
Yes.
That's a pretty simple tool to create. You already know what the problems are. There are probably people that's doing the same thing, and they got a spreadsheet or something, and they kind of put it on the sheet. That could be an interactive tool that you can sell by itself.
Yes, and I've actually attempted to buy one, and I've hesitated, and I've seen people selling it at different industry events, but that would be a good option because, again, I think it can apply to anything in addition to just what I'm doing.
Yeah. All right. Who's next? So we gonna work on your calculator tomorrow?
Yes, that's fine. I'll have some content ready for you.
Okay. All right. Kay, you up?
Yeah. So as I said, I'm an educator and um, getting into AI education consulting. And the problems in my industry are um, the need to save time, teacher burnout, because of the time that's spent grading and preparing lessons and things like that, and student engagement. So I'm looking at saving teachers time, better student engagement, greater efficiencies. And so curriculum planning, unit planning, lesson planning, as well as feedback, giving feedback and grading student work. And again, ensuring students are engaged, especially because smartphones, kids on the smartphones, attention spans are really short. I've been teaching for 25 years, so I've seen, the shifts and changes and things like that. So what I was thinking about is an app to help teachers do that curriculum planning, do that unit planning, and do that lesson planning. That's what I was sort of thinking, that would go along with, as an add-on to my offerings for professional development.
I like that. And so is there a tool on the market right now that does that?
There are custom GPTs that do that. I've not yet, and I'm not for sure of that because I was doing some research in Manus to see if there would be a market for that, if that would be an ideal tool. According to Manus, it could be an ideal tool. So, but I haven't seen anything like that on the market as of yet.
That's a good
But
thing.
yeah, because like I said, the challenge that I'm having is that you can do that in ChatGPT, right? You can do all of that. So I'm not sure. It sounds good in my head, which is why I wanted to bring it forth. Sounds good in my head, but I
We're
do
gonna do
that
it.
like every day. I'm playing in ChatGPT every day, or playing in some AI tool every single day. Creating things and doing all the things. And so yeah, so that was my idea and wanted to bring that forward.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you the back end of Turf Dreams.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Let me sign in. All right, so this is my football baby, and I'm gonna show you what it does.
Okay.
So you can definitely do what you just said.
Okay.
All right, so this is my admin dashboard right here. Let me pull this down bottom. This is my admin dashboard. On the front end, this is what you see. Let me know if y'all can still see the screen. Can you still see that screen?
Turf Dreams.
Help me. Okay.
It says Turf
So
Dreams.
this is right. So this is what the front end looks like. So here I have features. It tells you what it's about. It looks like a regular website on the front end, right? But I also made sure that there was something for the parents, something for the players, so the players can go in there. They're gonna get the AI coach. They're gonna get all this stuff, and then I'm gonna show you what the back end look like. And then I made sure that parents had their spot, so they can go in there and follow the kids around, make sure they're good, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and then the coaches can communicate with everybody, with each other, with the kids, with the parents. Everybody can sync their calendars, and then this is just a blog board where we're going to post stuff, stories and things like that about what they're doing. And this is the Booster Club that talks about what we're planning to do, scholarships and all the things we're going to buy. That's the front end. This is the back end. Now, when I go into my admin account, if I click on player, it's going to take me to the player's dashboard. This is what you can see. All right, they can talk to the coach, Coach Grind. That's the AI coach right there. Just like ChatGPT, right?
Oh.
Or they can track grades. Now the parents can see these too. Like the parents can see the grades being tracked. They can see what they got going on. And the coaches, because that's important.
Right.
Let me go back in the player dashboard. So that's that. They can also sync the calendar. So they can put stuff on the calendar, but they can sync it with the parents and the coaches.
So the access to the grades, where is that coming from? Like, for example, where I teach, we use an LMS called Schoology. So where is that grabbing the grades from?
So right now the kids are putting the grades in manually, right? And the reason they are, because I don't know if the school is going to let go of their information and partner with us. So it's going to be up to the coaches and the kids to put the grades in. Gotcha. So the coaches can get access to the grades, and maybe the parents can put them in. Somebody has to put them in, because I have not figured out whether or not the school is going to do that, which I don't think they will. But I was like, at least they can track them.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense too. I mean, it's privacy law. Yeah.
All right. So that's that part. So when you come, so that's the academic success area right there. So make sure they're getting a grade. Then you come down here to where it says get recruited, right? So they can put in all their information, their name, position they played, academic GPA. My brother told me, make sure I put this in there. He's like, make sure you put the GPA in there. That's really important. I said, okay. So I put that in there. There's the social media links and the activities and all that kind of stuff. This is in their profile. So they can do their profile. And then they can save it. There's a save button. And then I did that. So they got a highlight reel. Now I built all this with Lovable. So they can go in there, they can put in a highlight reel. And then once they put the highlight reel in, you can go ahead and create an interest letter. They can create the letter in here. It shows up on the right-hand side. And then they can email it to a coach, a college coach. But the AI is going to help them customize the letter. So now they can send everything together. And right here, you see where it says highlight reel is already checked. It's going to be checked. All they got to do is create the letter and send it to the coach.
Okay. That's nice.
All right. So that's that one. And I put a lot of features in there so they can do stuff. This right here just talk about the different colleges. This is how they communicate with the coach. The coach, they can go in there and pick a coach that they want to talk to and send them a message. Parents can do the same thing.
Okay. That's really interesting, because I love that, because the idea that I also got, having taught for the past 25 years and also having a daughter who is in college now, and who I went through the whole financial aid path and researching scholarships and grants and things like that. The other idea was to create a tool like that, because at my school, we have all the resources ever, that a family could have. I teach at Westminster, and they've got, goo gobs of resources. Most schools don't have that. And definitely public schools don't have that. And I talk to people all the time, just because of the access that my daughter has had. Like, I pay nothing for her to go to school. But I had to do a lot of research, and I know where those resources are, just by virtue of the contacts that I have at my school, and just because of all the research that I've done. So that was the other idea that I had, was to create an app for people, for families to be able to go through that process of
That's a great
not
that's a
just
great idea.
yeah, I was thinking about that one too.
That's a great idea. That kind of puts me in the mind of a tool for nonprofits, because one of the things nonprofits always have a problem with is trying to figure out when the grants are due, when they're available, when the deadlines are, and they're all over the place. They're scattered everywhere. So it's like,
Right.
okay, I don't know to go for Tory Burch or to go for Microsoft or to go for Comcast, or if they're all over the place.
Right.
And
Right.
so by the time you find out about when the deadline is hit already, so that puts me in the mind of that. But that's a good opportunity, because that's a problem. Now, when you look at the two tools, the one for the teachers and the one for the parents looking for the scholarship,
Mhm.
if you're monetizing both of these, which one do you feel will give you the best chance to reach your financial goals based on the two? Because even when I did
Yeah.
this, I was excited about this, and my brother straight said, "Black folks ain't gonna pay for this, Audrey." And I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Why?" He said, "They're not going to do it." He said, "It's great, but they're not going to pay attention to it. They're just not going to put the money in." And he wasn't talking about all Black people, because he would be one of the Black
Yeah.
people that will pay. But
Right.
he was saying, because that's who I'm surrounded by, it's going to be hard. Like they don't see
Mm.
the value. Now, my daughter's boyfriend took it to the Buford coach,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Buford is a
Yep.
whole monster
Yep.
by itself.
Right.
Yes, it is
They're
a
not even
monster.
part of they're not even part of Gwinnett County school system. They are a separate school
Oh.
system from, no,
Wow, I didn't
they
know
are a
that.
separate school
Oh.
system from Gwinnett County by themselves.
Oh,
That's
did not know
crazy.
that. That is
So
crazy.
Buford High School spent $85 million on that campus that they have, and they
Wow.
have 2 football fields. It's ridiculous. So when he took it to them, they were like, "This is amazing." I was like, ah. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, money is green, so I'm not discriminating, but I said all that to say, which one of the two is going to pay you the money you need to hit your financial goals?
Right. I don't, Audrey, that's such a good question, because so if in my mind, okay, so here's the confusion that you just cleared up for me. When I'm thinking about an app, like I'm thinking about something on my phone, right?
Mhm.
But that's a website,
It's called a web app.
a web app. Okay,
Mhm.
so I can see, I don't know. I don't know if teachers individually would pay for it. Like, I think it would have to be tied to the professional development. So it would be like more of maybe of an add-on, because if if you get someone who plays around with AI, like I play around with it, um, you could do everything in a tool or two. But my thing is, I'm trying to train teachers how to do it fast, and they don't have to do all the things. They can, with this app, they can just put the information in there. And there are tools like that, but they're bloated. They're really super bloated. There's just way too much stuff in it. So I think that on the one hand, a tool like that, I think might, I don't know if this is, I've done a bunch of research and I haven't gotten to anything with clarity on whether or not it would be profitable as a tool that teachers would purchase as opposed to school systems. And if that's the case,
Mm.
I think that the scholarship one would probably, because because the example that you give is Buford, right? Um, there are lots of school systems that don't have all of the college counseling resources, but parents and families would be willing to pay a subscription for that for like maybe 2 years, like their junior and their senior year, for example, or their
Mhm.
sophomore or their junior or their senior year. And so if I'm thinking about it that way, I think that maybe that one might be a bit more profitable than the curriculum unit
Mhm.
lesson.
So
That's what
this
I'm thinking in my head.
so this is what I will tell you to do. There's a site. You ever heard of Reddit? Y'all ever heard of Reddit?
Mhm.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Go to Reddit tonight. So before our class tomorrow, between tonight and
Yep.
before class tomorrow, and go to Reddit and search in the subreddits, right? And
hmm
search on teachers and see what they're complaining about, because that's where you can find
Okay.
your problems at. And
Mhm.
anybody, whatever your industry is, go to, because they always complaining about something. They're asking about
Okay.
something on Reddit, and And Reddit is not like a big sales app like a Google, right? It is a place where people, and they will kick you out of Reddit if you start trying to sell stuff over there if you don't do it the right way. But if you want to know what problems are, go to the Reddit and then pick a subreddit. So for you, it'll be teachers.
Oh,
And
okay.
so even though we think we're creating something that'll be great for them, they may not want that. You may come up with a whole different, unique idea just based on what they're asking for, or just based on a pain point that they're having. And that's with anything we do.
Yep.
Like Reddit is a great place to find stuff. You can get lost and go crazy over there because you see so many problems because people are always complaining about something. But in your industry, if you look up teachers and see what they're talking about, and you know that that's something that you coach on already, but maybe you could add that one thing. Because here's the other thing, y'all. Georgette knows me very well. I overcomplicate everything, right? Even with this system right here, I'm so excited about it. My brother goes, they're not going to use that. I'm like, why? He said, because they're just not. And I was like, I'm like, oh my God, I was almost crushed, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be crushed. Somebody's going to use this platform because it's a good platform. So I want you to figure out one tool, all of you, just figure out one. Now, I can tell you when I did Debt Crusher, it was really simple. Like I did it in like 7 days, and it was like I need you to learn how to get out of debt and make some extra money to help you get out of debt. And once you get the money, protect the money. And then once it was real simple, right? This right here, I'm like, yeah, this is the one, and I still believe it is the one, but it may be a little bloated, like you said. It may be a little bloated. I just know how much money my brother has spent on football over the years with 2 boys. I know that for a fact. And I know all the money that my mom used to spend on football. And I was like, I would, if I had a son, and I got a daughter and she's a girly girl, but if I had a son, I would buy this in a New York Minute.
Yeah.
For my
If
son.
I had a son who was in sports, yes, me too.
Hey, Kay and Audrey, I think what you both have just said is that if you create a subscription option, that might generate, so you can still have a bloated program that can reach a different audience, but maybe the subscription part could be level 1 that will reach your target audience, for example, like your brother's coaching team. And I know people have to get used to paying for stuff that they want, but maybe that's an option that might work.
On my platform, I have a subscription option. So I have 2, one for the parents and the kids, and then one for the coaches and their staff. So that there are 2 subscription options on my platform. And that's but then there are people there were some parents who have middle school age kids, right? And they were like, well, I want to pay, and it's only $27 a month. Well, okay, so now they're saying maybe I should do a middle school tier. I'm like, I don't want to do all that. Now you're trying to complicate my math, and I don't want to do all that. Wait till the kid get to high school. So I'm still tossing that around, but I want to make sure that the people that were ready now, like freshman year in high school, the platform is really built for them and through 12th grade. That's what it's really built for. But then I have people saying, well, I want to utilize it. Well, it's $27. Don't get your nails done that day. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's always my thing. Like, sacrifice something for your kid if that's what you want. So this is the parent dashboard. I just want to show you this real quick. This is the parents dashboard. So they got stuff in here for the parent who don't know. Because my daughter, we talk about this all the time. They say the women go to the game, they don't really pay no attention, they don't know the plays, they just look cute. So she told me that because she's like, I'm just there to support. I don't know what's happening. So I was like, okay, well, this is what it looks like. This is some of the terminology. So I put that back there for the parents who don't know. And then this is the parent dashboard. So they get to see what the kids are doing. They also get to look at their nutrition planner. So there's a nutrition planner I built in for the kids so they can watch the kids' food plan and things like that. So I kind of probably did fluff it up too much, but I wanted to make sure that everything was there. I wanted them to understand what NIL was and what the brand deals was and all that kind of stuff, because that's a big deal right now. Kids are making a lot of money. And they need to understand, especially if their kids is one of the ones getting that money. So I wanted to make sure that was in there, and that was very explainable. And then the different divisions for the people that's actually giving out the money or not. So I wanted to put that in there too. So these are all how the schools are broken down: Division 1, 2, and 3, and it kind of gives you an opportunity to see like where you fall in there. Where's your kid falling in these divisions? Are they high level? Because this is what is going to be required. If they're Division 2. So I wanted them to understand, like, this stuff I know, but a lot of people don't know that. And then it kind of gives you a path for the kids. Like, this is the path you should be on for your kid based on that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Now, when I think about this, I'm gonna definitely have to go high level. I'm gonna have to find the right people, the people that pay for their kids to go to football camps. And I talked to my mentor this morning. He said he got somebody for me. He's like, I got you. Somebody that run a bunch of camps. And I was like, yes, that's who I need. And I know that's going to be a good fit because the people pay for their kids to go to those camps and they paid lots of money. So that would probably be the people who would pay for this platform. Everyday schools that don't have really big budgets and things like that, probably not. So that's not my audience. So that's something to keep in mind as you guys start to figure out what you want to create. You know, who's going to pay me for this? What problem am I solving for them? And who's going to pay me? And how much would they be willing to pay me for this? All right. Brittany, you got an idea? I'm going to stop sharing real quick.
I do. Thank you for this. And I came for one thing, but something else completely different came to mind. So I want to share
Don't be
with
like
you
me now.
all.
Don't be like me over there just making stuff. Don't be like me.
Well, I didn't expect this to happen, but I'll explain it. I'll be as brief as I can. So my husband is a personal trainer, and I am personally going through menopause. Sorry, Kevin, we're going to talk about it. I'm going through perimenopause. And so my husband is a personal trainer. And so I was just looking at some of the changes, right, that my body is going through, things that I'm experiencing. And so for women, you know, we have 4 phases of our menstrual cycle. Well, during each of those phases, you have different levels of energy. And so I came up with this chart here. So I have each of the 4 phases here, but I don't know if you all can see it. Can you see this?
A
Use it
little
a
bit.
little bit.
Yes.
Can
Oh,
you see
yes.
that now?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So according to the phase that you're in, it depends on how much energy you have. So you can see here, there's things that maybe I can do at certain times. Maybe I'm not going to be so great at doing it other times. So I actually made this for myself because, you know, I have a demanding job and there's times when I want to know when I'm going to be the best for meetings and when I'm going to need to push that to another week. I'm just not going to be there. Right. So that's how this started. And I was telling my husband, ooh, as you're training the ladies, you know, you have women that are going to come in, they have a goal, they're wanting to push hard one week and their body's not going to do it. And if she doesn't know that, she's going to take it
Right.
upon herself. She's going to try to push herself, which is going to throw her hormones even more so out of whack. So I came to this class thinking like, oh, I can
That's
make an
good.
app for my husband and he can do
Nope.
something. But what came to me was more of what I created this for. And I started to think about us and our jobs, us in our homes. And so you asked the question, what problems are there? The problem for Black women is that we tend to go into menopause 10 years earlier than everyone else. The problem is that there is a very low level of education as it relates to this with us. The problem is that there's a lot of conflicting information, and the research is not for us, it's for our lighter skinned sisters. So we haven't even really researched what this looks like for Black women. But what we do know is that Black women suffer depression through this time. And a lot of times you don't know that that's what that is. Okay. And so there's a high impact to us in the experiences we don't understand. We don't understand the experiences we go through. So when you think about menopause, when you think about perimenopause, people think about hot flashes. They think about the little memory loss. They think about maybe being irritable. They don't think about things like your ears ringing. If your ears are ringing, people don't think, oh. And then if that's something that's never happened before, you're trying to figure out why this is happening. People don't think about things like sensitivity to noise. For me, some years ago, it started with my husband, can you turn the TV down? Why you listen to that so loud? And it escalated to, I have little things that I put in my ears just to go to church. It's so loud, I almost can't stand it. It's not that it's loud there, it's my body. Things like your breath can change and not be pleasant. There's a drop in estrogen. If you don't know that, that leads to depression, right? Trying to figure out why can't I get rid of this? So anyways, I don't want to go long, but these are
No,
all the
that's
things
good.
that were starting to come to me. And so I don't know how I can put this into an app, but I thought if
Oh,
I can
yeah.
get this information somewhere, then I can talk to HR departments about what the ladies at work are going through, because they're still creative. They still got it, but we do need to understand what they're going through and the changes that are happening. Those ladies themselves need to know what they're going through, not take it upon themselves, not beat themselves up. Like I said, you might be in a phase, sis. Wait till next week. All the ideas are going to come back, right? But I'm thinking HR departments, doctors, fitness experts like my husband, when he has ladies that want to get ready for a marathon. Okay, let's think about her body. Let's think about what she's going through. Therapist. I think that if I have a resource like this, I can link to therapists, I can link to doctors, I can link to books and resources, I can link to lab tests and supplements, wellness clinics. This is all the stuff that came out as you were talking to them.
You're
I
gonna
don't
be
know what to
rich.
do with it, but we
You're about to be
need this.
rich.
We need this.
Yeah,
So that's what I
very
got.
much
And
so.
then I was like, well,
Brittany,
she's
you
talking
are
about
about to
how do
be
you
very
make money
wealthy.
with it? She said, how do you make money with it? So I was like, I don't know, maybe affiliate links or some advertising. I really don't
No.
care. I just
No.
know we have to know this. I remember when I was talking on the phone with my mom when I was in college, and my mom used to keep saying things about, I don't know, she just kept talking about like how old she was, but almost like she wasn't going to be here. And I would be like, Mom, like, why are you talking like that? My mom was going through perimenopause. And it just something about her own mortality was hitting her so hard. I don't know if she was having depression. I talked to her about it now, and she doesn't remember feeling that way. But I remember as her daughter, especially in college, just being like, dang, Mom always kind of talks so morbid. It was a phase. And we don't know this. The other thing that Black women do is isolate. So your girlfriends, you haven't spent as much time with them. You're not seeing the family. You're not doing family. It's just a phase, and we don't know this, but we need to know, and we need to know how to support each other. So I just have to say thank you, because I didn't come here with this in mind, but I was like, I need to say this, and I need to see what you guys think.
Yeah, beautiful. It's beautiful.
We think you're gonna
Yeah, I
create
think
that
it's going
tomorrow.
great. Yeah, it's great.
Listen,
Yeah, it's
let me
really
tell you
cool.
something. So as
Very
you were
cool.
talking, two companies came to my mind. One was Nike and one was Dove. Like
Yeah,
those were the
especially
first two
Dove.
companies that
Oh my
popped into my
gosh.
mind
I think Dove would be
because
great.
yeah, like those are the first two companies, but this is something that's
So
like
universal.
yeah,
It's just like,
yeah.
yeah.
And they're gonna always need it, and you can always iterate on it as people give you feedback. Like the most important thing for you, and that's why I love like all of these different platforms. The most important thing is to launch, right? You can't be a perfectionist. You got to launch, because people are going to come back. Like I put all that stuff in that football app, and people may come back and say, well, I don't care about all that. I only care about this part. Like even when I talked to my daughter's boyfriend, he was like, well, I just want to know about the coaching part. I'm like, what about the rest of that? He's like, oh, yeah, I just want to make sure they can talk to the coaches. Like, what about the injury recovery part? He didn't care about that. And I'm thinking, well, I would think I'm a parent. I want to know how long it's going to take you to recover. So, we're going to create that tomorrow. So that's your thing, and I'll show you how to do that, because that's very
Stop.
much needed. But
That?
you have the opportunity to collab with so many people, and you can use it as a subscription service, right? It could be $9.99 a month. But think about this for 1 second, right? If that thing is $9.99 a month and you got 1,000 people, that's a lot of money every month.
Yeah.
And that's just 1,000. If you partner with OBGYN doctors, if you partner with
Oh my gosh.
hospitals, if you partner with
Wellness
gyms,
centers.
I can tell you right now, when you get it launched, if you go to Crunch Fitness,
Yeah.
Crunch has a fitness they have a marketing program where you can pay $150 a month, and your ads are run on like 2 or 3 screens and 2 or 3 different crunches, and it gives you 3 memberships for that $150. So while people are sitting there doing whatever on them screens, you got the news on some screens, but then it has a bunch of ads running on the other screen. It's a community partnership program, and that's for anybody, anything. So
That's
people are
cool.
there, all kinds of people are there. they're working out and they're not necessarily looking for workout stuff, but you got some people that are looking for health and wellness. You got some people that may need catered cakes for, I want to leave my job. I'm here trying to get my head clear, and up pops catered cakes on the screen with a business opportunity for you. Or I'm a teacher. I don't want to be bothered with these kids. I'm looking for a side hustle to leave them, and up pops, the book on the screen.
That's
so
hilarious.
and it's only $150, which I thought that was amazing. I'm like, that is amazing. So that's a good idea. But that's a great idea.
That's a really great idea.
Because,
it's a beautiful idea.
And then here's a funny part, right? We're gonna figure out how to put something there for the men that be freezing at night because we're so
I
hot.
know, that's right.
Well, men do. It's called andropause. So men actually do go through their own phase.
Okay, that's cool.
But it's not talked about. But I think there's a place for the men too, so they can understand the women in their lives and support.
Yeah. And then some place where they can buy bigger blankets.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
An affiliate link, right?
Because we are not turning down the coolness. I'm just gonna say.
Hey, I'm married, so my wife has been through it, so I understand.
Yes.
But George, you said Georgette, is that the proper name?
Yes,
Georgette. She just said something. She just said affiliate program with blankets. So can you imagine you branding your own blankets and also selling them as well?
I'm saying we understand.
And health ministries are also a good opportunity with the churches, because you get a lot of love from churches too. So that may be a good place to promote it.
Like that's gonna be a great tool.
That is.
All right, Georgette, you want to throw yours out?
Okay, so mine's okay. It's not that exciting. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. It's exciting for my community, I guess, right? So I do a lot of doll related things, as you can see back there. I do doll podcasts. I've been in the doll world for a long time. You created the first plus size fashion doll. That's how I got it.
That's the little doll sitting back there on the shelf back there. Little chunky ones up top.
The top. And so I run a doll podcast. I've been running podcasts in the doll community for over 3 years now. Have a pretty good community there. Rebuilding, because the last podcast I had, a lot of drama was with that. So I started my new podcast, but I always wanted to do something for doll makers. And so I kind of did what Audrey said. I went to Reddit, went to the subreddits, and I asked ChatGPT to, hey, look at that and see what kind of pain points, give me 5 pain points, that I could solve with something, because I had already had an idea what I wanted to do. And it kind of brought up some of the things that I was working on. And I talked to Audrey too, so that kind of nixed that one that I was going to do and decided to do something else. So a lot of the pain points really was disorganized workflows when it came to their collections, things that they want to, upload their dolls, all kinds of things like that. It was lack of professional portfolio options. So also manual order and client management. So basically the app that I'm creating is called the Doll Lux Studio, and it's going to be able to be showcased to not just collectors but also makers as well. And kind of like you were saying, somebody was saying, I have 2 tiers, right? So I have a tier just for collectors, and then I have a tier for dollpreneurs, right? Who want to be able to promote their materials, to showcase their dolls. They have a thing called the Doll Drop Pro, which is a part of the premium package. And basically that'll be more like press releases, things for them to showcase their doll. Now, yes, they do have things that are out there for collections, but a lot of them are fragmented. And so they may have a tracking thing, or they may have a thing where they upload stuff, but it's not really doll based. So I'm putting all of those things within this program, and it has 5 different options for them to do. It has, it's going to have a resource, a template. I mean, look, I got 2 pages of stuff I done worked on, just talking to Audrey already. Okay. So I actually started building it in Lovable, but we're going to slow down on that. But I just think it's, like I said, it has branding in there. It has a collection, a management collection. It has an art portfolio. It's a client and order tracker. So all of the things they may use separately, they don't have to. And that was one of the things that they were saying when Reddit went in there and talked about it. They were saying that people were upset, not upset, but they were frustrated because they had so many other tools, so many tools, and none of them were together and none of them were streamlined. And so that, because I asked it, I said, okay, what's out there? And again, a couple of things I said, okay, so if those are out there, then why would my app be best? And that's when they came and said, because it puts everything streamlined in it. And also I add little, I like affirmations. So I add little things in there too. So every time they add a collection, it gives them a little affirmation, you know, like, hey, this is amazing. You're building your beautiful collect, all kinds of things like that. So it kind of talks to them as well. And it also encourages them to build a better collection, and also encourages the doll makers and doll creators to go out there and sell their products and have a nice place for them to showcase their gallery too. So they'll have a gallery, all kinds of things within that. Yeah.
That sounds nice.
I'm excited.
So that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that point up, because there may be some. So when I create stuff, I'll ask ChatGPT some questions, right? And they give me a whole lot of stuff, ideas for this. And then I'll look at my whole ideas list and I'm like, okay, how about if I merge this one together to create this one platform? And it'll tell you that is amazing, Audrey, because sometimes it'll give you one idea, but then you may say, I want all three of these in this one platform. So, you know, with you told us about the whole exercise in that part, but you may say, I also want to have a nutrition planner in there. And I also want to have an interactive journal where they can go in there and do some live journaling with some prompts, right? Because they don't know a lot of times. I didn't have a clue about what you just said. You just said, I'm like, what's things? So that may be an option for them to just have nutrition and exercise and journaling to get it out their head. I'm thinking I'm having like some kind of midlife crisis, and it's all because my hormones are screwed up. You know, the other thing too, you know, think about this. Telemedicine is big right now. Right. And with our current administration shutting down hospitals left and right, it's only going to get bigger. But you may go to some providers and like, look, I know that there's, you know, no hospitals out there, or I know that there are people who need this information. They can't get to a clinic. Would you like to be a provider on my platform? And now you got a partnership with them, and they may have to pay you an annual fee.
Yeah,
just to be listed on the platform. So think about that too. Like what other streams of income can you build on that? And can you take a fragmented industry and put some things together to make it better?
Yeah.
Kind of like Georgia and I met this guy a long time ago. So his name was Stanley. So Stanley invented the squeeze ketchup bottle.
Oh, the ketchup bottle.
No, the ketchup bottle. That was Gary that did the umbrella, the gut buster. So Stanley invented the squeeze ketchup bottle. And so because we were inventors, we went somewhere, he was speaking, and he invented the bottle, but he also invented the dish gloves, right? The yellow gloves that the people used to wash their hands with. He was old. He was like 80 something then. So he had did these inventions a long time ago. It's probably gone now. But what happened was, the people that was washing the dishes with the gloves, they came back and said, every time we wash the dishes, the plate slips out of our hands because the gloves doesn't have a grip on it. Well, he went and made a mold of a hand with these little bumps on it. So the gloves, I don't even know if people still use dish gloves now, but the gloves you see with the bumps on it, he went back and iterated that to put the bumps on it so the gloves the plates didn't slip through their hands. So there may be a way for you to look at a fragmented area and say, okay, I'm going to take this piece and put it together. And that could be a premium plan. So you're going to get the basics, you're going to get the mid tier. But if you want the big daddy or the big daddy, that's what this is what it is.
Right. Yeah.
So, and so I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's kind of why I did
had
the
these
premium.
Conversations, and, I was like, I don't think that's gonna work, G. Your churn is gonna be high on that one.
My churn is not gonna be. My churn is not gonna be bad on this one, because there's just too many people that are frustrated, and that was one of the reasons why I went to it. So they went to our dolls, our BJD, our doll collecting, and they went and scoured that stuff, and they said the problem is that nobody has a unified way to organize the collections. Some people were like, well, I got $100, and they still use spreadsheets and random folders, and it's just a mess, And so there was just so many things that you would think people would utilize or that they use, but they don't. And I think having something that's so streamlined can help them. You know what I mean? And also, like I said, it's not just for collectors. It's also for doll makers. I'm making sure that I'm putting stuff in there for people who create dolls, so they have a space to showcase their gallery. They have a space to launch stuff and say, hey, I have a new doll coming out. You know what I mean? This is where you're going to go. So yeah, it's.
Are you going to build in a community inside of there, inside of the app for the doll makers and the collectors to kind of congregate?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, there's a community that's coming in there. So right now I think I have so the parts of my collection, portfolio, client tracker, resource template, and community, and then the Drop Pro, which is a premium tier. And what that does, it does create like branded pages with payment links. So, and people they have a doll that they want to drop and showcase, they can send it out and people can buy the doll right then and there, that kind of stuff.
And you definitely gonna have to connect to Superbase. So
Yeah, I
now I
know.
want to,
Yeah.
that's definitely one, because so if you're gonna sell something on the platform, I would suggest you get a Stripe account, because Stripe integrates really well with Lovable and Superbase.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so all of my stuff is processed through Stripe. And so whenever I put a new tab on something, I'll
Okay.
say, let them, just make sure that you put in there that this is going to be processed via my Noise Media Network account. This is a parent company of all of these things that I'm creating. So you want to make sure that you put that you connect with Stripe, because Stripe is real easy to connect
Okay.
within that base. Now they may do some other stuff, but I know Stripe is one of the ones that I saw, but that's the company that I use anyway to sell all
Okay.
my stuff. And I
Okay.
use them for a bunch of different reasons. One, because people want to pay on a payment plan for something, they can at checkout they can put Klarna Afterpay, and so they can pay with it. And I get a lot of business that way, because people, if I got a $4,000 program and I really want to take it, but I can't do $4,000, well, they can split it up into 4 payments. And so that's something to keep in mind as well. And you
Okay.
may not have anything that high, but you may, because you may decide I want to do a retreat, or I want to do something bigger, and it may cost, and you may decide that you want to be a consultant and your time is worth a lot of money. Like
Okay.
my consultations is $9.97, and for some people that's a lot of money. But the person that really need the information, they want to skip the line. Hey, at checkout, use Klarna, use Afterpay, and people do
Right.
that all the time. I had a lady one time, it was about 3 months ago. She listened to my podcast. It was so funny. She knew everything about my family, because when I'm on that podcast, I talk about everything. She asked me about Sugar Baby. She's like, "How's Sugar Baby?" Now, I don't know the lady, but she listened to the show. And I call my granddaughter Sugar Baby. She's like, "How's Sugar Baby?" Like, Sugar Baby is fine. So, but she was launching a dog food, and she's like, "I just really need help with getting this dog food off the ground." And we did the consultation, but she was able to use Klarna or Afterpay and checkout to do the consultation. So you just want to make it easy for people to pay you, and you want to make sure you're charging enough, and you want to make sure you give them a bunch of different options as far as the tiers. Like with my regular website, I have a bunch of different things on there. Like there's a consultation fee, there is a strategy and AI audit, there is, it's a bunch of different things at all different tiers. And I always include books, because books are the lowest tier that you can create, right? $14.97. Somebody said, I'm gonna buy the book. Now they can buy the book and it's gonna tell them a lot of stuff, but they're gonna miss some things because they need to talk to you.
Right.
And they figure, I'm gonna go do some Google stuff, and they can go do all that stuff. But if they really want firsthand experience, they need to talk to you. Especially if you're setting yourself up as an expert in that space, they need to talk to you. So I had a guy who wanted to do a podcast. He was like, well, I'm in. So at that time, I was just starting to teach podcasting, and the class was $47. And he was like, well, I mean, why would I pay $47? I could just go learn for free. I was like, you absolutely can. You just can't learn what I do. You can go and learn for free. You can. He's like, well, okay. So he did 2 episodes, and that was it. Now I know he bumped into the wall for probably a bunch of different reasons, but if he had paid the $47, he probably would have been fine. Because I could have told him, hey, listen, this is how you gonna use AI to do this thing on this kind of way. But he didn't take it. Was $47. Now it's not $47, but back then it was $47, and I could have showed him some shortcuts that he missed out on. All right, any questions, any thoughts?
Super
Yes, sir.
base.
Let me say this. It was a pleasure meeting you at the business summit for one. But I think one of the biggest challenges that I face, and I think a lot of people face, and I'm kind of hearing it, is that we want the information for free and don't want to spend any money to invest. And
Yep.
we all know that the minute you invest in something, or you tell people to invest in something, they have a little better sense of ownership of it. Now, I can say I've invested in quite a few things over the years and have not really put the time and energy into it. So I felt it was a waste of money. So I'm a little cautious about doing it. But I would just say this. And once I met you, I got comfortable understanding that, hey, you can get me to the place that I could not get myself. It was more of an investment for me. And I was willing to do the air in the box. I know you switched gears, but this gives me a chance to actually explore the areas that I seem to be uncomfortable with, like AI, for example, ChatGPT. Everybody keeps saying it understands your personality. I have the most generic, bland stuff that comes from ChatGPT. So I want to develop that, which will get me to create my branding. And I think that's what some of this will do. So I think that's once we get past that hurdle, and everybody thinks they can do it on their own, I think that'll be a good way to sell your product as well.
And you want to know something, Kevin? I guarantee you there is nobody in your industry that has some kind of interactive, create your own catered cake app that people can go online, and I bet you they don't. So what happens is whatever we decide to create tomorrow that people are going to pay you for, then you're going to introduce it to the public through PR, because you're going to probably be the only one doing that. And what happens is when you're the only one doing something, people jump on it. Like right now, I already know the book came out today. I did it yesterday. It's on Amazon today. I'll put out a press release tomorrow about why I feel like family economics is the way to go, which I do. Like I wholeheartedly feel that way. So when you think about what you're creating too, also think about how, we can position this for the media. And I'll show you how to do that on day number 5 so you can launch, hit the ground running. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to put your thing out there. And because of the way technology is moving, somebody going to come right behind you and say, okay, she did that. I like that. And they're going to copy you. I'm just going to tell you. And you can't protect it. So you got to be the first one out the gate. And so the last day we're going to come up Saturday morning, we're going to come up with the marketing plan and the PR plan and which platforms you need to get on first so you can get that traction. I put out, I don't think it was last year, I think it was year before last. I knew chatbots was going to be hot. And I had created a bunch of them, and I put out a press release, and I was like, I teach people it was called Chatbot Engineering class, right? Chatbot Engineer Academy. And I put it out to the media like quick. And then Roland Martin picked up the show and brought me on the show. And I was able to get on his show, talk about it for about 6 minutes. And he has an audience of about 3 million people. And then my email just went crazy. The artists just went crazy. And I was like, this is great. So that's what you want to do, because and technology wasn't a year and a half ago, it was nowhere near where it is right now. Like people just learning how to use chatbots. Now you can just say, "Hey, create this," and it's created. So we're gonna talk about that on Saturday. Like, what's the next step to get you out there quick and get it running? So I want you to think about your platform, what you can add into it. Do some research on what can make it different, because there's probably somebody out there doing it, but what can you do to make it different? What can you add in? I love to add in interactivity, because a lot of those platforms are just websites. They don't have no interactivity in them. When you start adding in digital journals inside of stuff, when you start adding in inside of the football app, I got a place where they can go in there and listen to audio, like these speeches and all these, and I created all that with AI. Like I created all the motivational speeches and everything and preloaded it. So when on game day, they can listen to that audio. And then if they have it, they're sitting on the sideline because they hurt, there's an audio for them to listen to and tell them what to do, how to be a cheerleader on the side for the team because they hurt. So all of those things I created with AI, catered cake. It's Valentine's Day coming up. Okay, Valentine's Day coming up. Here's my playlist that you can buy to go along with these cakes you're going to buy from me that's really sexy. And you own all the music for them. You know what I'm saying, Kevin? We got to think outside of the box, and we can create all this stuff, because my baby, I created her whole little soundtrack of songs. I want to say it's 18 or 19. We did it in a couple of hours, and that took a long time because she wanted to dance each one of them. But had I been doing it by myself, I would have knocked that out probably in 30 minutes. So we think outside the box. We give them something to think about. Even I created an app for a young lady. She's a nurse, and she's really into church and religion and stuff like that. And she wanted all of these amazing sayings. She wanted to come out every day. So we got 365 biblical verses coming out. And then she wanted meditation music and all these different things. So we put all that in there. Like, what else you want? We're going to put it all in there. Now, I think it's overkill, but she wanted it all and she paid for it. So we put it in there. And so just think about what you want it to be. And then tomorrow we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna start working in Lovable, because that's the exciting part. That's the exciting part. Any questions for me? Any thoughts?
I had a
Are you
thought
ready?
for Georgette when she was talking about the doll makers. I saw a gentleman that made like a directory like a industry directory. So maybe she could do that, like, because all he was, I guess the AI was just scraping, the internet and pulling in all the events. So maybe that could be a part of what you have. Like they can see events in their area
Okay.
and things like
Yeah, I can
that.
add that to that. That's not a problem.
I mean, if that's
Or
something, if
yeah,
it's something that they do,
yeah, that'd be great. Because I mean, it's helpful because if the community is doll makers and doll creators and they want to go to events, it's helpful to have that in the system too. They don't have to go to somebody else's site just to see that if they're already paying, a subscription for this site. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I will add that. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other questions? Any thoughts before we shut down for the night?
I guess
Homework. Homework. Do some research and come ready to work tomorrow. We're gonna go in. I probably gonna have to add some more credits to my account. Because I'm out. And if you're gonna do it, you really do need to pay the account because you're gonna get 5 credits tomorrow, and then you'll get 5 credits the next day, and you'll get 5 credits the next day. So that's gonna slow down your process because you only get 5 credits a day. Yes.
I will say this, and this is my last thing. Because there's so many tools that are constantly being created, maybe a suite of different tools that can be industry specific. Like I know Brittany mentioned things that she's doing. I think the trainer idea is an awesome idea, especially since we have a lot of people doing personal training. But even for me, I have a list of AI tools and I just kind of keep bouncing around like, nope, don't like that one. I'm gonna save them as a bookmark, but maybe a suite of AI tools that can be created like you did for us for this class. You gave us 5 things to focus on. So if I can do that to kind of help people in my industry create specific stuff faster versus just kind of grabbing everything that shows up, that might be helpful.
So let me tell you how you're gonna do that, Kevin. So how you're gonna do that is look at the tools that you like, right? And see do they have a developer API for it, because then you can just embed it into the API. Also, you may even want to look at being a referral partner for them. Like ChatGPT doesn't have a referral program. Leonardo does, and I use Leonardo all the time and I talk about it. So I'm a referral partner for them. Lovable has one. I don't like it. I don't think they pay enough money, but I use them all the time. I love them. So I'm a referral partner for them. And then Canva, they used to have one. I don't think they have it anymore. If they do, it's kind of locked out or something. And then 11 Labs, which I love because I create all my voices in 11 Labs. So if you're going to do that, you want to do 2 things. See if there's a referral program that you can use. And if there is, instead of you trying to build a whole platform, there's what's called an API. You can be able to use the API and make your platform call up the API, but it's going to track it based on you and your referral situation with them if they have one. Even if they don't have one, you still probably going to use the API to call it up. So that way you don't have to, because what you don't want to do is create things where you got to watch the back end all the time because the technology is so crazy. Like everything I create looks really complicated, but I know I can sit there and run a bug debugger and it's going to debug it. If I have something really, really super intricate that takes millions of dollars to run, I don't want that because then that's going to stress me out.
Okay.
So if you want to do that, look at the tech stack and see if your tech stack can be something you can incorporate via API or referral program and just build around it. And I'll give you a prime example. If you remember when I showed you the football page, like I didn't want to blog because I didn't want to have to worry about it crashing. So what I did was I went to another platform called F Site and they have a whole bunch of apps. And I was like, I'm just going to take the F Site. I think I paid $6 a month or something. I'm going to take the code from there and I'm going to drop it into mine. So now all I got to do is just post stuff on F Site and it just populates the site. I was like, I don't feel like doing all that because blogs are crash. When Google changes the algorithm, it messes up stuff. So I didn't want to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So just look at your tech stack, and then that way you can kind of figure out how to incorporate it.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. So we're gonna have some other people joining us tomorrow. So it'll be probably 6 more people joining us. So that's from my other class. I teach them on Wednesdays, but I was like, listen, we might as well just jump all in here together because yeah. Now that means I would have to stop teaching and start over again. Like, no, y'all just meet everybody tomorrow. So Anyway,
All right.
if you have a question, you got my email, just shoot me an email. And if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6:00.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Stop the recording.
I was looking at my thing.
Here's the recording. Did I record? I thought I recorded.
I
Did
thought
not
you were recording. You said you're gonna
Oh, yeah, there it is.
hit the
Stop.
record.